It's time to enter the world of real estate in Oahu.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, this is that part of the show where we talk about art and what is art. Adrian, give it to him quick.
That's Attilio's Random Thoughts.
So I listened to a podcast. I think it's called The Huberman. It's like 2 hours long. He's like a PhD researcher, and he has on other PhD researchers, and I got bad news for you. Well, there's good news too, right? It's yin and yang, bad news and good news. The bad news is that if you have garbage in your home, and I'm not talking about the one that sits in, that you put on the curb and they pick up on Mondays. I'm talking about like junk food, sugary things, things that are processed, things with a lot of fat in them. And let's say you're like in a family environment and you want to start eating better, but the family doesn't want to go along with you. You might as well not even try, because here's what the science has proven is that when that stuff is around, and let's say, especially, and most people, there are lesser people, or if it's a smaller amount of people percentage wise that don't eat anything when they're feeling low. But the larger percentage of how human beings act is we do eat comfort foods, and it's the high sugary processed junk that we eat when we're not feeling too good. And then, we call them, here's a candy bar of regrets. Here's a bag of chips of regrets and a sugary soda of regrets. But basically the programming in your part of your brain is so strong that logically you're telling yourself that's not good for me and I shouldn't eat this stuff, and you'll just be like, and you go through some mental gymnastics and you'll eat it anyway. I mean, that's how I am. If I have junk in front, if I have like a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in front of me, I'm eating 11 of them.
Well, you have
because Adrian ate one before I could get to that one. That's the only reason I didn't eat 12 of them.
Well, I can say that I have some of that junk in my house. I've got some teenagers, and I eat healthy. Well, Adrian, and maybe I'm just outside the bell curve.
Well, you're the one that you don't eat the junk. No, it's just there's some people that eat the junk, and then there's people that are highly disciplined and they're so focused on property management that no matter what's going on, they're always eating healthy so that they can manage your properties and maintain this value. Who would that be?
That would be Duke Kim Han of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
All right.
That's unless you bring me a box of Krispy Kreme donuts.
Okay,
Oh, that's your weakness too? Is that your kryptonite?
Oh, man.
I know. It starts on the airplane because everybody's shoving them in the overhead compartments.
You can
smell it through the whole plane.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's on Maui.
Exactly. I lived in Florida where there was one, there was two in our town.
Yeah.
But they were open 24/7. And they would have a sign outside that said that donuts are made 8 a.m. in the morning. So if you came by at 8 a.m., you'd see that whole thing going through that big wheel and get glazed, and then they dry them all out. You can get them hot.
Elvis's favorite was Krispy Kreme donuts because it's been around since like the 30s, and that's what got Elvis.
Oh man,
that's what got Elvis. Was the donuts.
Okay, so my tip of the day for property management is real simple. What do you get when you hire a property manager? People call up and they ask what our rate is. What do we charge for property management? But that's not the right question to ask.
Yeah.
You should ask, what do I get for your service, for your fee?
Yeah. What's the value?
That's what you should ask, because that's going to change from company to company. We do a whole lot of background checks, background searches, and we keep the owner involved in that loop. But the marketing that goes out, we have a professional photographer that takes about 30 to 50 pictures and a walking video of your house. And these are all no charge. So between getting all that done and background checking, we go to your house 2 times a year. If there's a pet in the house, we come through 3 times a year and do a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Just a real quick walkthrough to make sure everything looks the way it was when you moved in. And if it doesn't, then we address the tenant. We say, hey, these things are out of whack. You got to address them.
And
so
I can verify that you guys do that. How do I know? Because you guys manage 2 of my properties.
And then you had managed one of mine before it got sold. And you
that's
found
exactly what I got.
And you found this humongous dog that wasn't supposed to be there. So
almost a pony.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
So, a lot of that has to do with, I've talked to homeowners that hadn't had their property walked through for 2 and 3 years when they were managed by other property managers.
Wow.
So what do you get for the 10%?
Yeah.
That, people say, oh, well, he charges 8%. Well, what do you get?
Well, they probably should. They should charge. They should charge the 8% because they're not doing. They
should charge less.
They're not doing all these other things that are required to maintain this property.
Keep it occupied with good tenants.
Background check.
Pay on time.
The tenants have to pay to apply, so we can do their background check.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of work that goes into that. We call the last 2 landlords. We call the last 2 employers. We check their bank account to see how much money they got in the bank. This is super important when you're putting somebody in your house in Hawaii that averages single family $1 million.
Well, I think especially too, like
here.
the laws here, they really do favor the tenants. So I mean, it's super important that you have someone that's understands that Hawaii tenant landlord
screen for crazy.
Yeah.
Let you go to landlord tenant court and try and evict a tenant. See how much that costs. First of all, you got to be 3 months behind. Duh. And then see how much you get back.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything back at landlord tenant court.
Wow. That could be a very expensive mistake. Right?
3 months,
Putting
3 months of vacancy is way more than a 2% discount.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yeah. So call Duke and his team, people. If you got a investment property, just give them a call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Duke.
Thank you, Duke.
Bye-bye.
All right. So you can call him at 445-9223 or check him out online on our website, teamlally.com, on the resource tab, and experts we trust.
Well, I think the new number for everybody is 799-9596.
Okay.
That's the new number for everybody.
You can call that number too.
One number. It's like Lord of the Rings. One phone to bind them all. Next up, we got somebody. He was a train conductor and used to work at a train depot. Mm-hmm. Now he works at the loan depot. Who's that?
That would be Corey.
Corey.
With his mortgage tip of the week.
What you got for us, Corey?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
So our mortgage tip of the week, I would say, is rates are headed down. Get the house before everyone starts jumping in here. I know applications are already picking up, and for all those people sitting on the sidelines, momentum is starting to get there. And I'd highly, highly encourage people, especially out here in Hawaii with, PCS season around the corner, to get in the market before it starts getting, the competition ramps up. I think that's the biggest thing we're seeing here is our applications are increasing. And as that competition starts to ramp up, the seller credits that, you guys have been so good at getting people are going to start to dry up. And I think people are going to be missing out on some good opportunities out there.
Yeah, we know when it's like economic factors that when interest rates go down, prices start going up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what time that they should make an appointment with you, Corey, to get pre-approved? 5 minutes past now.
Exactly.
5 past now.
I like that. That's exactly when they should call. And I certainly think, like you said, inventory too nationwide is half of what it was even pre-COVID.
Yes.
As these rates continue to drop, demand is really going to push these prices back up. I think people are going to be surprised.
Yeah. Interest rates start going. It's like chum in the water.
Yeah. And as we're heading into the summer, which is the high PCS season, it's just going to be even, more
competitive.
Yep. So do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah. I think there's a month left before we're in the heat of it with, I when I was in the Army, got here in May. So May is just around the corner, and that's the start of it. As soon as kids are out of school, that's when all the married and service members with dependents start getting out and PCSing. So school's ending here in a month and a half, and they're going to, that's when, things for us out here in Hawaii, but, everywhere really, people move in the summer. So that's when stuff starts ramping up, not just Hawaii, but nationwide.
Yeah. Well, that's a great tip for everybody. You're like a canary in the coal mine. You give everybody the heads up and get it while it's going good. And you're like at the Krispy Kreme donuts. You're saying hot donuts right now.
The red light is on.
The red light is on.
Yes.
Go buy a home. Go buy a home now. Okay. Well, thanks, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So you can reach Corey at what number?
799-9596.
Yeah.
Or if you go to our website, teamlally.com, there's information on our resource tab and experts we trust.
We're going to tell you to trust us, but don't take our word for it. Just check out our reviews. Our target goal is about 500 reviews. We probably got 440, maybe 440.
I think we're almost to 450.
450.
So speaking of reviews, I think we should share one.
Oh, go ahead.
So this one is for Debbie Boss of Team Lally. Is
she the boss lady?
She is the boss lady and is everything that you look for in a realtor. She was exceptional and delightful to work with and very understanding and patient to help us find our perfect home. Every question that we had, she gave us honest answers. If there was something we did not understand, she took the time to educate us. If you're from the mainland, the housing market in Hawaii is much different. It also differs from island to island. You need someone with the knowledge, experience, and strategy to secure the house that you want. Look no further. You want the perfect home. Ask for Debbie. She helped us get our perfect home. Mahalo, Team Lally.
We call her Sergeant Debbie because every weekend before they went look homes, you got to do like 50 push-ups, 50 jumping jacks, 50 sit-ups. No, she's not Sergeant Debbie. She's like the opposite. Just a really good listener. And
super patient.
Doesn't tell you what you need to do, just advises you.
And you might even see her driving around the North Shore in a tiny Team Lally car.
In a smart car. It's a wrapped smart car. Go tap on her window. When she stops screaming, just let her know you heard about her on the radio show. And next up, we got he's like the Rocky Balboa of the financial world. He just keeps coming and coming, and he's a champ, and he's going to knock out financial illiteracy.
That would be Kyle Shimoda of Impact Wealth Solutions with his with his tip of the week.
All right.
Kyle, what do you have for us?
How are you knocking out financial literacy this week?
Oh, love it. One of my favorite songs is Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
I think, let's financial literacy, that's a hot topic. And that's a lot of the work I do in my realm as a financial advisor, financial planner. Definitely what I love talking about is getting people more literate around the areas of 1031 exchanges and the option with the Delaware statutory trust. Yes. I think if more real estate investors understood that tool, they would be more likely to sell underperforming investment properties.
You know what? I'm surprised. I guess we're in the business, so we all know what a 1031 is, but I'd be surprised. I mean, very few people know what a DST is, and we won't leave them hanging. We'll explain that. But explain to people as simple as you can. I got this from Denzel Washington. He played a lawyer, and I forgot what was the name of the movie, but he had this line, explain it to me like I'm an 11-year-old. What is a 1031 exchange? Oh, the movie was Philadelphia. What is a 1031 exchange?
1031 exchange, in layman's terms, is it allows someone that owns an investment property to replace it with another investment property and defer their capital gains until later.
Yeah.
Right. So typically, if someone sells an investment property and there's gains in it, right, they sold it for more than what they bought it for, the IRS taxes them on the gains. If he decides, you know what, I want to sell this property and I want to take those proceeds and reinvest it right away, then as long as it's going from an investment property to another investment property that they're not living in, then under the 1031 exchange rules, the capital gains taxes are deferred.
Deferred. Yeah, because that tax would be, I don't know, 15, 20, 30%.
Yeah, depending on your tax bracket.
Yeah.
Now, Kyle, you mentioned...
That's just the federal.
Oh, yeah. And then the
federal.
state, yeah, it could be much higher.
I call them Uncle Sam and Uncle Chemo.
So, Kyle, you had mentioned an underperforming investment property. Like, what does that mean? What's the definition?
I would say underperforming. How I look at performance in the investment world is, what's your return on an investment, or for real estate, what's your net cap rate? Mm-hmm. And that's the gross cap rate is what you're bringing in, your gross rent. Then the net is taking out any mortgage costs, taxes, insurance, maintenance, property management, HOA, upgrades, and what's that final number at the end? And you take that, divide that into the equity, and then that's your rate of return or your net cap rate.
Yeah.
If it's lower than you would expect to receive investing that money anywhere else, then that's an underperforming asset.
Well, and a bigger number is more better.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger number is better. Yeah. And it's interesting is in Hawaii, especially, people are used to having, low or even negative returns. Yeah. Right. When you do the math, they're negative each month because they're expecting to get the appreciation. Yet, if people came to me to invest their money and I said, well, I'm going to get you a negative 1% return if you invest your money with me, no one would work with me. Yeah, in real estate,
they'd be like, "You're so negative.
Okay.
Why are you so negative?"
Yeah. And so the thing is, when people have options like a Delaware statutory trust, then you don't have to be negative anymore. You can be positive all the time.
And it does affect your mental well-being too, because you're not dealing with tenants and trashing and torching and TROs and
I've had quite a positive experience with my DST.
Yeah.
And I was
Talk about the returns that you got.
And they just keep getting better. They keep telling me, we've raised the rents again, so we're going to give you more money.
Yeah.
And I'm just very excited. Every year I get these new letters with increased monthly payments.
Yeah, you heard of tennis elbow. Adrian has mailbox money elbow from opening up the mailbox to get her checks and stuff. And we're just joking. We're not joking about the returns because it just hit her checking account. But
yep. So Kyle helped me into a DST that was with storage facilities that span across, I think, 4 different states, and they've done very well. As far
like
as
the president for Men's Hair Club. Not only you're a member, but you're the president.
As far as like the appreciation in just the value of that portfolio, plus
it works,
plus the rents have just continued to increase. So
passive income, no headaches.
Yeah. And just to be clear on that is, Adrian is a fractional owner in this large self-storage portfolio,
multi-state.
Right? Yeah. So Adrian sold a small property and took those proceeds, did a 1031 exchange into a DST that was worth, I think at the time, close to $200 million with your, was under $200,000. Mm-hmm. So you're a fractional owner in there, yet you receive all the fractional benefits as that properties appreciate, as they that's all increased.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
And Kyle helped me. So if anyone has any questions about the DST, I know Kyle and his team does some webinars every month, and you can go to our website, teamlally.com/DST, and sign up for the next one.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Hey, next up, we got who we got. They're going to help us from the bottom of our house to the top of our house, and from the left to the right to the back to the front. Everything in the house. Even if you got to build one brand new house, they can help you with that too. Who is that?
That would be Gina from American Floor and Home.
Hey, Gina.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks so much.
Good. Remember that show? I think it was in the 90s. The black couple, and then the wife's name was Gina. Remember that? And it was like, Gina! No. Anyway, that just popped in my head. So, Gina, what you got for us this week?
Okay, so this week, wanted to touch on kind of the new design trends we've been seeing coming in. So again, we have our own team of designers who help our clients with their kitchen and bath projects, picking out cabinet colors, flooring colors, paint, all of that. So the biggest trend we've been noticing lately is the grays are kind of starting to go out of style. So I I know they've been really popular for the past 5, maybe 8 years. But now we've been seeing a lot of people coming in from really beige, like neutral colors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think clients are either looking to renovate their forever home or who just need some inspiration to put their home on the market. The beiges have been super popular, and a lot of people, still think the grays, which are still really trendy. I think the design trend is going towards really like minimalist,
Yeah. I think people like that too. Maybe that's coming out of the fact that we've been, because of COVID, we've been cooping up in our homes looking at everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Going, this clutter is driving me nuts. We need to go minimalist.
Mm-hmm.
And
so the beige and the neutral is making a comeback.
Well,
yeah,
that's a good thing to do, because a lot of times people think I need to do one thing to get a home sold and one thing to live in it and enjoy it. Well, let me tell you something. Going with a neutral palette is the same thing you do to get the most money for when you go to sell your home.
Exactly.
So do it now while you can enjoy it. Because everybody's like, oh, I wish I'd done that before while I was living in it all this time. Well, do it now.
Yeah, you can do the neutral. Yeah, exactly. You can do the neutral, like the big stuff in the neutral palette, and then have like a nice area rug for those accents, those colorful accents.
Exactly.
And I know you guys have
decorate it how you want.
And you guys have those accent, those rugs, and all the accessories.
Yes.
And you guys are you guys aren't like one Monty Python hotel. The Monty Python hotel, the comedic troupe, they would be like, the guy would be the bell captain, and then he take his hat off, then he run behind the counter, and then he's the guy checking you in to your room, and then he runs out from behind the counter, puts his bell captain hat on, and he takes your luggage up, and then you see him wearing one wig and an apron because he's making the food for breakfast. And you have different. The point I'm making is you guys have the different people that specialize in the different things, and what we like about your company is in-house and employee owned.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So all of our installers, whether it's flooring or cabinetry, are also employee owners. That with our work, we really take pride and ownership in what we put out there. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I know Gina, she has her license plate says boss lady.
And you guys have an amazing warehouse too. Like, I think if our listeners have not been out there, go check it out. I know you've done some remodeling, and there's just so much product over there.
We have 4 warehouses with the largest inventory on island. So tons to choose from, whether you want the grays or the beige. We have it all, from the flooring to in-stock cabinets as well. Yeah. So everything you need for the home. Yeah.
Remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark when they was putting away the Ark inside that big government warehouse? They shot that at you guys' warehouse. That was the location shoot.
Somewhere in there,
So it sounds like, you guys have so much stuff, it could be a little overwhelming. And that's when this this design team that you have really can, come in handy.
Yeah. And is it still like $5,000 for them to come visit with you guys for an hour?
No, so all of our estimates are free. The process, will come out, measure for you guys, take a look at the home, and we'll bring you in for a presentation with renderings so you can see exactly what your space will look like. That's always the best part.
Yeah, I remember the line from that show. Dang, Gina. But anyway.
Dang, Gina.
I think that was the Martin show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I made it more family friendly the way I said it. I said D-A-N-G. Dang, Gina.
I remember that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Gina, for calling in and reminding our listeners about American Floor and Home.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. Well, go visit them at their showroom. They're on Sand Island. When you walk in, as soon as you see Gina, go, chee-hoo! Came from the Team Lally show. And they're going to give you a bottle of water and say, you okay? You all right? And then they're going to walk you through some designs.
Okay, so we are going to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Shellsey Barnhart from the Valley of the Temples. Yeah. We're going to talk about the services they provide and the benefits of pre-planning.
Stay with us.
It's Dina Holyfield for the Royal Ride, and I have a very important question for you. Are you ready for retirement? Well, Robert and Maureen were ready for the big move, but they had to sell their home in Kapolei first. They were also worried about rising interest rates and inflation. I mean, who isn't? I recommend they call my friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. After only 20 days on the market, Team Lally was able to sell their home and allow Robert and Maureen to stay in the home for a few days after closing for free. Talk about a no-stress sale. If you're in the market to sell your home and want the right real estate team in your corner, you can trust Adrian and Attilio of Team Lally. Call 808-799-9596. Call 808-799-9596 or visit teamlally.com. Do it. You deserve the best retirement possible.
Hello, Hawaii. It's Colin Coward. Things may have changed in the sports world, but the games must go on. Look, I invest in real estate all over America, and right now, with the ultra-low interest rates everywhere, if you're serious about selling your home, you need to talk to my friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally, Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Team Lally's incredible marketing with 3D tours and its huge database of buyers has continued to sell homes quickly with multiple offers over the asking price. Adrian and Attilio continue to spend tens of thousands per month on marketing to attract hundreds of buyers every month using a unique app that communicates daily with over 3 million luxury home buyers around the United States. Adrian and Attilio guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it themselves. Give Adrian and Attilio a call at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com and start packing.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Hawaii, I would hire Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it. Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Attilio.
If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Our guest today was born and raised in the beautiful island of Kauai. She moved to Oahu in 2015, fell in love with the vast opportunities Oahu has to offer. She is a mother to 3 kids.
She's been in the food service industry for 15 years and now is an advanced planner for the Valley of the Temples. Please welcome our guest, Shellsey Barnhart.
Hey, Shellsey.
Hi, Attilio. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Hello. So, one of the things I got to tell everybody, we keep saying Valley of the Temple, but when you're local, you know it as Temple Valley. So I just telling people, we're talking about the same thing. Valley of the Temples. It sounds like one of the episodes of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Valley of the Temples. But okay, so and Shellsey, I was sharing with you earlier. I was sharing with you questions that we had asked Jeff when he was on the live stream, but then we got the questions for you too. So we'll hit them all, and none of these are questions that no, not to worry. You know all these. You're the expert on all these questions. But Adrian, you want to give the first question for Shellsey?
So, I have a question that is not in this.
Okay, go ahead.
But I know you're gonna be able to answer this. So, Shellsey, how did you get into this industry with this pre-planning?
Yeah.
And so how did you get into it?
So actually, I have a coworker at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
She opened me up to this. She and I, we work at the local. And she told me, I really like the service you give to your customers, and I think you'd be very good and compassionate speaking with people about what I do. I'm like, what do you do? She goes, I'm a pre-planning advisor for Valley of the Temples. I said, wow. So, next thing I knew I was in training.
You was in training?
And you know what? I think it's...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was in training. And I think it's such a needed service here in the islands,
I think so. And you're serving people.
Mm-hmm. And with compassion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk. We like to hit people right up the front with the information that they're wanting to hear. And a lot of times this topic is something that people don't necessarily want to talk about, but we know they listen to the show, so we're going to give it to them anyway. When you say pre-planning for funeral services, what does that mean?
So pre-planning for funeral service means that you'd go ahead and meet with one of us to discuss a plan. That plan allows you to basically prepay for your own funeral. When somebody passes away, what happens? Who takes care of it? It's going to be the family members, and that's very burdening financially and emotionally for them. So what we encourage people to do is to come in, speak with us. We can get a plan in place. We have so many options. We have beautiful property options that you can also have the choice of having your loved ones with you, planning ahead. You get the choice.
And maybe you got relatives you don't want with you too. You can make that arrangement.
Absolutely,
also. They can be on the other side of the cemetery.
Now, Shellsey, I know that we've been talking. We've got a friend that is in need, and you were explaining that if you do the pre-planning now as opposed to after the passing, there's a big difference in the cost. Yeah. Let's talk to that.
So pre-planning gives you you can save thousands with pre-planning.
Yeah.
So pre-planning, like right now, our incentives for Valley of the Temples is going to be a 2.9 interest rate, finance for up to 60 months with 10% down in automatic pay. So you can go ahead and do a property choice, whether it's cremation, whether it's traditional burial, or say if you have property elsewhere and you just need the funeral service.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, we'll sit down, make an appointment, we'll look through what funeral service best fits your need. Then we can go ahead and write a contract, and you can do like payments, budget-friendly payments for that. And that's huge because when it becomes at need, it's like anything that you buy last minute.
It's more expensive. Yeah.
And then with that need, you need to pay before your loved one to rest, and that is so hard on family.
Yeah, I think too that when you don't do the pre-planning and there's nothing in place, then the relatives all have to. It's a big, huge financial burden on top of the big emotional decisions they got to make, and that's the last thing that you want your kids, your family, your friends to be going through when you pass away or go on to glory. Talk about.
And I think that comment also ties into everyone says, "Oh, I've got the life insurance. I have the money saved," but then this pre-planning. How does that?
Yeah, talk about tie to life insurance, or answer that question. Oh, I got life insurance. So, what would be your response to that?
Life insurance is great. I think everybody needs to be protected, especially for family. We don't know when our time ends. And, so with the insurance, that does not cover the inflation. And insurance for today, 40 years from now, that's going to be different. You mean?
Yeah.
So why not now? You can lock in from inflation.
Yeah.
That the cost 45 years from now, and insurance. It takes time. You do need a death certificate from insurances. I know the final expense out right away. But
Shellsey, I think we've got a bad connection. We might need to reconnect.
We may
because we're hearing every other word.
Yeah. So you know what we'll do? We're going to keep talking about these benefits. I'm going to have you disconnect, and we're going to call you back again and continue the conversation. So can you disconnect with us, and then we're going to call you right back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So.
Alrighty. Perfect.
We've had Shellsey on the show before, so we know. I have excellent recall. So does Adrian, and we know, for example, so one of the ways that you save money by locking in today's rates or prices is that the prices double every
the real estate, right? Every 5 to 7 years,
7 to 10 years.
Yeah, but the same thing with our residential properties.
Yeah.
It just continues to go up, right?
A single family home on Oahu doubles every 12 to 20 years. So this is at a faster rate. So if you're going to be around for another 50, 60 years, that, think of that. So every 5 years, doubling. Today it's 5,000. 5 years from now, it's 10. then it goes to 20, then it goes to 40. When you could have got that same plot for 5,000 today, 10,000 today, it could be 50, 100,000 down the road.
And they have, and I know that they have, a wide variety of, for budgets between like
$2,000 to $3 million to $33 million.
33 million.
33 million. Believe that? So you can bury like 28 generations up there on their place. And it's a beautiful site. It's a good place to go visit. The consultation with them is super high pressure. They put you in a headlock.
No.
It's a consultation. It's about informing you and educating you. And so, all right. So I think we got Shellsey back on. Let's see if we got a better connection. Go ahead, Adrian. What's your question for Shellsey?
So Shellsey, I know that when we got disconnected, we were talking about the life insurance, and let's elaborate on that. If they have life insurance,
cover that one more time.
Why would we need the pre-planning?
All right. So life insurance is a necessity. I feel like everyone should have life insurance. It's just that layer of protection for your family. Life insurance, I know there's a couple different types of life insurance, but with final expense, I know that pays you out pretty quick. But with the final expense, it's a smaller amount, and we don't know like how much funeral costs will cost in funeral price will cost in 45 years from now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then also by you being able to pre-plan, that locks in today's price.
Yes.
That leaves your family with that final expense money to pay your bills. We don't know what kind of financial situation will be at that time. Yeah. What if you're in debt? What if you're not in debt? Your family can use that money to pay down your debts, to secure your property. They could use that as a final, they could use that to put a down payment on a house if they needed to,
Or maybe send the kids to college instead of worrying about funeral expenses because you did pre-planning.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then with the other type of insurance, it takes, so for first, you need a death certificate. That's going to take 14 to 60 days. We issue the death certificate. Yeah. So your loved one needs to be put to rest before we issue out the death certificate. So, that's going to rock your credit card bill, or you might not even be able to purchase all of that, I mean, like I said, we don't know what our financial situation will be at the time.
Now, a couple unique things that you guys have some special programs for the first responders, police, firefighters, veterans?
Yes, we do. I think it's so awesome. So we have a Heroes program. So we offer 20% off of property and 20% off of their funeral plans.
Nice.
For the veterans, I know that the government gives them a space, and it gives them a memorial placard or an engraving, depending on what type of space you choose. Yeah. But I also know that they only give $300 for funeral expense. So a plan is a necessity. So we do have a funeral plan fit to memorialize our heroes.
Yeah. Another unique thing you guys have is you got one spot for Fido.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us about that. The pet cemetery.
Cemetery.
We have the only pet cemetery on Oahu. Yeah. So you can bring your fur family, and they can have their own final resting space with their own memorial placard, their own flower vase. It's absolutely beautiful. We have families that sit and enjoy the day with their pet.
Yeah. And some of these pets become family members, because most people
absolutely.
They bury them in the backyard, and you'd be like, oh, we forgot where we put Fido. Was he on that corner?
I do want to be a little clear on something. The other week I had a friend. Yeah. He has a fur baby. He's had her for about 20 years. Uh-huh. But he asked me if we have cremation plans for pets. Yeah. I told him we don't. So I just wanted to be clear. We don't provide the cremation plan for your pet, but we do provide the burial space and the container. We call it a vault to go into the ground to protect the urn.
Yeah, it's probably because it's you don't want to be mixing the animal remains with human remains at the crematorium. There's some probably Board of Health law or something with that. But at the end of the day, that's what it is.
I know that most of vets have options for it, because I've had some of my animals. Yeah, well, some of my animals have been cremated. Yeah, and so they'll.
Well, it's like because they're doing only pets.
That's right, just the pets.
Unless the veterinarian never do a good job, then we're gonna have to do him too. No. Let's talk about like people hear this terminology and it's not something we talk about all the time. Hey, how was your day? Oh, I was doing some pre-planning. No, people don't normally talk about this. Talk about the difference between a cemetery versus a mortuary.
So the cemetery, that's all property.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the cemetery would be the Memorial Park side.
Okay.
So that's going to be your choice of property, whether it's cremation, traditional burial. It's going to be your monument or your memorial placard that goes above your space or the engraving on your niche.
Yeah.
That's going to be the cemetery side, including the container, which we call the vault.
Yeah.
That protects either the casket or the urn from the elements. And then mortuary side. So that is when a loved one passes, we come in and we bring them into our care.
Yeah.
That's going to be the mortuary side. We have funeral arrangers, we have our staff, we have the usage of our facility, and then the service itself. That's going to be all on the mortuary side.
Yeah, I've been to services over this. Very beautiful, very peaceful. I think it puts people at peace being on that property with having services there because it's you got I don't know, what is it, the Borowan Temple in the back, and so it's a very
Yeah, tell us about the temple, Shellsey. I know that's pretty unique.
The Borowan Temple.
Yes.
So I just came there yesterday with my daughter. She loves it. But it's one of the biggest tourist attractions in Oahu.
Yeah.
So the Borowan Temple, that one is it's a replica from the Borowan Temple in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So this was founded in 1968. And it's, like I said, one of the biggest tourist attractions. But, we have a beautiful 9-foot Buddha sitting on a lotus flower covered in gold.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come, they meditate, but they don't really realize that we have behind Buddha, behind a closed door, that we have glass front niches.
Yeah.
I wanted to...
Well, real quick, for people, when we say niches, think of like that cubby hole. When you used to go kindergarten, you got to go put your jacket in. So it's like a cubby hole. We refer to it as a niche. And then tell us about these niches?
So these niches can hold anywhere from 2 to 8 family members.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. I actually helped a friend of mine. He's in his early 30s. I helped him pick out something.
Yeah.
He chose the Borowan Temple because he loved the smell of the incense, the sound of the running water, and that he was close to Buddha. And that was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice. A lot of religious and spiritual connections to the valley. I noticed, like being a Catholic, you guys even have one whole Catholic section, and in fact, we know that type of real estate is the most expensive per square foot on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what you know about that other one, but what is the deal with that $33 million one?
So that is 1/3 of an acre.
Yeah.
We call it the Pinnacle. So that one is a customizable property.
Yeah.
You could build a granite castle on there if you wanted to. You could build 6,000 glass front niches. It's just pretty much whatever you could imagine we could put on there.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. Well, and then that new section, if you do a bird's eye view from it, it looks like a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that section. That was really nice.
So that is our newest development. That is Ocean View Terrace. So that is a heart-shaped garden created by our feng shui master. Clarence Lau is his name. He created it because it embodies all the elements of feng shui.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to give you prosperity and peace in the afterlife.
Uh-huh. And I like
so
it.
that part.
Yeah.
So that garden right there, we have cremation. It's all along the side of the river. It's the longest water feature on the island, but we have some cremation properties along the river.
Uh-huh.
We also have some granite front niches in the front of the heart, at the bottom of the heart.
Yeah.
And then we have customizable properties at the top. So those are going to be our built-to-suits. Those are built-to-suits, your wants and needs. You saw the mausoleum at the top?
Yeah, Attilio and I.
Manolo is the family name that was on that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, we went over and visited. It looked like they had just put it up, like just a couple weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yes, they did. And you could put something like that on that type of property. And then we have a semi-private property, which is called Our Hedge Estates. That can house generations of families, depending if you want traditional or if you'd like cremation.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much customizable to what you and your family want to memorialize, memorialize your loved ones with.
So, people can give you on call, Shellsey, and then is it like a hard sell or what's that experience going to look like when you sit down with people?
So what I like to do is I like to talk story. I like to get to know people. What's their wants? What's their needs? What's financially, what fits in your budget?
Yeah.
That's my goal. What I want to sit down and listen to what people want, and how I can help them plan for, their end of life plans. It's not an easy topic of discussion, but I think it's necessary. And, I think once we get a plan in place, and it's something less you have to worry about, it's something that's not going to burden you. It's not going to burden your family. It's just a part of life that we should cover and we don't really think about too much. But
I know we have firsthand experiences that there's usually 3 times to talk about this stuff. One is when you're healthy, you have good mental acuity, you have your wits about you. Then the second phase would be like you're terminally ill.
Mm-hmm.
That part, you're really not in your best state of being psychologically. And then ultimately the last one is just your relatives figuring it out.
Because you passed away. Yep.
So we highly recommend that they give you a call now to sit down with you, and they got, there's nothing to lose to get educated. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's the one thing that kind of steers people clear from this conversation until it's needed.
Yeah.
It's kind of the fear of the unknown or the topic of discussion, when really this is just something that we set in place to protect your family, to honor you and your wishes.
Yeah.
You have a say in what happens to you and where you go.
So Shellsey, what would be the best phone number for our listeners to reach out to you?
Yeah.
So my direct line is 808-265-4947.
Yeah, 265-4947. That's 265-4947. And what's the expectation there that you'll set up a time to meet with them out at the Valley of the Temples?
So we can even have an appointment over the phone. We can have an appointment in person, in the comforts of their own home or at Valley of the Temples.
Yeah.
So you're flexible.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the Zoom? Because, sometimes people have...
we can do a Zoom meeting, absolutely.
Because the kids might be in the mainland. That's why they want to
be included.
Be involved with what's happening with mom and dad. And, sometimes it's easier to bring your family along for these kind of, that's the most funnest conversation to have, but it's the reality of life. We're all going out the same way. Eventually.
And bringing the family on board is such a huge support system, they know what's going on. There's no surprises, they know exactly what mom and dad want. They know exactly how to execute it. And, when they do the whole pre-planning process, it truly relieves the stress of the family. Literally, it's when the time becomes at need, we have everything we need to set up and execute all their wishes.
Yeah. I think you guys have a pre-planning guide, and we was talking with Jeff earlier. There was like 100 questions in there, and I'm going to imagine that's pretty thorough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It is very thorough.
And I think you guys probably end up asking questions that people don't realize that that would be helpful to know.
Yeah.
We should actually put that down. And then that way, I think the biggest benefit, I don't do that type of business that you do, but if for me, it's like, I think the biggest benefit for the people doing it would be that you're giving a peace of mind to your family, that they can focus on not the minutia and the logistics of a funeral or services, but just on going through that grieving process together, or, celebration of life, right? We like to be more optimistic and positive about it by saying it's a celebration of life. So anyway. Adrian, any last questions for Shellsey?
No. Thank you, Shellsey, for being our guest and educating us and, sharing all of this wonderful information with our listeners. And I encourage our listeners to give Shellsey a call.
The number 265-4947, 265-4947. Thank you, Shellsey.
Thank you, Shellsey.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Attilio. You have a good rest of your day now.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
So we got about 3 minutes left.
We got about 3 minutes left. So we are looking for superstars. The 3 main traits we're looking for. We had an excellent career night the other night. We have them every other first Monday.
And you know what? I think Laura wants to try and do one in person coming up soon.
Yeah, maybe that'll be our finally throwing off the heebie-jeebies of the COVID and doing one. We've actually, the ones in person were pretty good. We'd have like 20, 25 people showing up.
Mm-hmm. And they were fun.
And so we might have one in person. We'll probably have some kind of setup for a Zoom. So we'll have both
the options. Because this last one, we had a girl who was zooming in from the Big Island.
Yeah, from the Big Island. And we connected her because we have the ability. Actually, we have the ability, if you want to start your real estate career anywhere in the United States and in about 60 different countries,
we can help you.
We can help you
make those
through the Keller Williams network. Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to put it out to you, you hear about our service, you see our reviews and you listen to our radio show and you're like, I wish there was a Team Lally in the mainland. I'm renting or I don't own anything here and I'm moving to the mainland. I'm going to buy there. We can help you find the Team Lally in any market in the mainland because Keller Williams is in every small market, every medium market, and every large market across the United States. We're everywhere. Anyway, so we can help you. All you got to do is give us a call and
799-9596.
Tell us what city, and we will track down in our network. Now, there's 180,000 agents. We're not going to like rando find you somebody. We have a list of people that we work with.
We have formalized relationships with agents all over the United States
and if it's somebody
Canada,
and if it's somebody we're working with for the first time, we have a very in-depth screening process that we go through, kind of almost like a background check for tenants that Duke does.
We do it for agents.
We do it for agents, and we know all the questions that you should be asking that you don't know that you should be asking. So if anything, let's leave them with the 3 questions you need to be asking someone who's going to be listing your home. Number 1, how long you been in the business? What else?
What kind of marketing are you going to do?
What's your marketing budget per month? So marketing, how long you been in the business? How many homes have you sold in the last 365 days? You personally. Mm-hmm. And so for us last year, it was about 100 million. It was about
120 something.
Yeah, 120 transactions. And we have a lot of our the special processes of the real estate. We have in-house paid staff. Mm-hmm. That help you through that process. Like employees. They work for Team Lally.
Yes.
So that's it. HawaiiCareerNight.com. If you're looking to make a move, we are only looking for superstars or superstars in the making. HawaiiCareer.com. You want to just fill out the application and start your process. It's join
TeamLally.com.
Join TeamLally.com. All right. So we're coming down to the end of our show. We got 1 minute. I think it's time to thank our sponsors.
Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
And Kenji with Pillar Post Home Inspection.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke, Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Kyle with Impact Wealth Solutions.
Robinson with Fine Line Paintworks.
Chastity of American Floor and Home.
Well, now Gina. And Jake with Skyta Construction, Roofing and Solar.
Ryan of Zero Res Hawaii.
And Jeff Howard with the Loan Depot. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have one of our awesome guests talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha.
The preceding program was sponsored by Team